Welcome back, everyone. Today we are going to make Country Loaf. Now, this is a little bit different to some of the breads you might have seen. It's pillowy soft, there's a really nice crumb, and a beautiful crust. This is one of those breads that you can use to just dip into big bowls of soup, or you can just have it on its own toasted, make wicked sandwiches, or you can even use it for like a little crostini / bruschetta. So, let's get baking.
Start with 225 grams of strong white bread flour, 1 teaspoon or 4 grams of fast action dried yeast, and we're going to need 200 ml of warm water. Pour this all over, give this a stir with a spoon until it's combined together like this. Then you're going to cover this with an oiled piece of cling film and put this in your fridge overnight. The purpose of this is we are creating a starter for the bread, and this is going to give you a beautiful depth of flavor in the final loaf. The next day it should smell yeasty and be slightly frothy like this. This is exactly what you're looking for. Okay, now put this to a side. Measure out 500 grams of strong white bread flour, 8 grams or 2 teaspoons of fast action yeast, and 8 grams or 2 teaspoons of salt. And give this all a little whiskey and just put this to a side. Now we're going to jump back to the starter that we pulled out the fridge. We're going to pour over 200 ml of warm water and 75 ml of yogurt. I use Greek yogurt here. Gently mix this together until everything is combined. It'll take you a couple of minutes, go slow, and it will look like this. Then take this mix and combine it with your flour that you weighed out previously. Mix this with a spoon until you get a rough ball or dough forming. Now you have two options here. You can do this by hand, like this. You can just scrunch all the flour together, tip this out once you have a rough ball that's formed, and then start kneading it with the heel of your hand. This is always good when you're making bread because then you get a real feel for the dough. Lightly flour the surface and then use the heel of your hand, push the dough, and then pull it back like you're making a figure of 8. This will take about 10 minutes. Alternatively, you can put this in a stand mixer and you can do this in about 4 to 5 minutes. If the dough gets caught around the hook like this, just stop the machine, wrap it round, and it will do its job for you. After 5 minutes, plop it out onto your surface. Knead this again briefly and you can check when it's done. When you touch the dough or poke it, it should spring back. So we're going to give it a little test now. It's not springing back as much as I want, so I'm going to knead it a little bit more. Same technique, using the palm of your hand there, stretch the dough away from you and pull it back. You're developing gluten here and getting it nice and smooth. When you get good, you can start doing this one-handed and then you can speed up the process. Okay, so once your dough looks nice and smooth, fold it in on itself like this. This is just going to give you a bit of tensile strength. Flip it over and we're going to form it into a loose ball, and then feel free to... That felt good. After this, put it into a greased bowl with a oiled piece of cling film, cover this and let it treble in size somewhere warm. This can take anywhere from 50 minutes to an hour and a half. Mine looked like this after an hour and a half. Kitchen was cold today, but this looks good for me. So we're going to lightly flour our surface and then we're going to degas our dough. Just put your fist through, it's very satisfying. Flatten out any little bubbles like that one, just use your hands and then fold the dough through to a center point and keep going around like this. This is going to build a lot of tensile strength. Flip the dough over and we're going to start rolling it into a ball. Now you can pull the dough towards you to make a ball, or you could just do it like this, keep shaping it around. This is my preferred way, using the hands to make a nice shape. So you're going to grease a baking tray next and we're going to put our dough ball on top of that. Make sure it doesn't slide away. Put on an oiled piece of cling film, cover it with a cloth and let it proof for 1 hour or until doubled in size. In the meantime, switch your oven on to preheat to 450 Fahrenheit. What we're going to do is do some steam baking. I will get into that later. After an hour, peel off your cling film. If any areas have spilled over, just go around and tuck them back in just to make a neat ball. Cover the top with some flour and then we are going to score this. Now you can make any marks you want. I'm going for a hashtag. Be decisive and just do one movement and you're good to go. Half fill your oven tray with some boiling water. Put this in the bottom of the oven for 10 minutes to generate some steam and then put your loaf into your oven. We're going to bake this for 20 minutes and then turn it down to 425 and bake it for another 25. After that, it should look glorious like this. Tap the bottom. If it's hollow, you know it's done. We made a beautiful loaf. I cannot wait to see how yours turn out. Okay, let's cut into this. Beautiful crumb and an amazing crust. You are going to love, love, love this bread.
Take a little piece, I'm going to toast it, and then take some of the chili jam that we made. Another video, be generous. So crunchy. Just listen to this crunch. Great loaf to know. Give it a go. See you on the next one.